Joey King, Shannon Purser, Ryan Phillippe, Sherilyn Fenn, and fucking Jerry O'Connell?
Hey Carl, look at this.
What's up, internet? I'm back. Yeah, June has been a dead month, and I've also been very busy working on a special project that I'll be telling you all about soon. I just saw Wish Upon. Wish Upon is directed by John R. Leonetti, and it stars Joey King, Shannon Purser, Ryan Phillippe, and several of the other people I just listed. And it tells the story of a girl who, her dad, who's a salvager, finds a box with Chinese writing on it and gives it to her, and it grants her wishes, but this twist is it grants them in a way that kills people. I mean, it's pretty much everything you've ever seen with that same plot. The Monkey's Paw, Careful What You Wish For, fucking Goosebumps, everything. I'm not gonna lie, I went into this movie, I fully intended to fucking rip it apart. I didn't think it was gonna be even slightly good, and to be fair, it's not, but I'd be lying if I said that I didn't enjoy this film, because I totally did. Don't get me wrong, it's dumb. It's really stupid the whole way through, but I feel as though the people who are calling that out as a fault don't realize that this movie was totally intending to be that. Like, this shit was so self-aware and so intentionally schlocky and silly that it was right there, like, in your face, and you had to know that it was, all of that was intentional. Leonetti is a director who I have not great feelings on. I mean, he directed Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which, while hilarious, is one of the worst films ever made. He directed Annabelle, which, in my opinion, wasn't a garbage fire, but it was totally generic and forgettable. And Wish Upon falls somewhere in between those two. It is your standard fluff horror film that really plays it safe. It's PG-13. There's a lot about it that you really, you know, is forgettable and stupid. But then, on the Mortal Kombat Annihilation side, it goes so far with some stupidity and so far with some schlockiness that it's totally a fun time. So I'm just going to dive into it. This movie had a fair bit that I actually genuinely liked. The acting from almost all of the cast was pretty damn good. Joey King played a really great role as Claire, who, while not always written in the best way, there are certain scenes where she's much less sympathetic than I think they want her to be. She is rather selfish, she is kind of shitty at times, but in a weird way, she's kind of relatable, and maybe it's because I'm a kid who went through a rough time in high school, but I didn't find myself watching her and going, yeah, you know, she's a really shitty person. She's selfish and stupid, but she's a fucking teenage girl. Her relationship with her father, played by Ryan Phillippe, is actually pretty well written, and I'd say one of the best parts of the film. It's very endearing to watch the two of them, and I wish more time was spent focused on it, because the scenes of the two of them together, while good and well acted, are over fairly quickly, and I wish we had seen more of that. Her friends, played by Shannon Purser, Barb from Stranger Things, and fuck, I can't remember her name. Sydney Park. They're not the most fleshed out characters, but they're certainly memorable. I personally enjoyed Shannon Purser a lot more than I enjoyed Sydney Park's character, because I found her kind of obnoxious. Shannon Purser was very endearing, she was very kind, and she was very, you know, like, a likable character. She, even though she didn't have a lot to do in this movie, Purser played her well enough that you really, you know, you felt attached to her fairly easily, because she was just a nice person. She was really cool. I really think that the best parts of this movie came out just in the way that the characters interacted with each other and the ways that the characters acted. The performances in this movie, for a film that, like I said, is really just a fluff horror movie, the performances were surprisingly good. And I wasn't expecting that at all. The campiness and the self-awareness were also really fun. This movie, they made this movie a lot easier to like because, like I said, it knows what it wants to be. It wants to be a cheesy, schlocky throwback to shit of the late 80s, early 90s, total just, like, tongue-in-cheek ridiculousness that's, you can't help but, like, laugh at some of it because it's just so hokey. I do feel that they took that a little too far at times, and that's where my negatives really come in. There are a lot of times where I felt it was kind of unbalanced. There's really obnoxious, shitty pop music playing throughout most of this film, because I mean, overall, it is a teen horror. It's a horror movie made for tweens. It's PG-13. It's there to get, you know, asses in seats and make money. What better way to do that and to make the movie feel accessible to teens than to have really shitty pop music playing through most of it? There are a lot of things, like I said, like that where it goes a little too far in the sense that certain things that characters say are just totally fucking absurd, and like to the point where I actually laughed and I don't think I was supposed to laugh, and that was like it felt like an adult writing dialogue for teenagers, and they had no idea how teenagers talked. And that was very funny to me. And like I said, I don't think it was meant to be funny, but it was unintentionally hilarious. The biggest problem with this movie is its editing. Because holy shit, the editing in this film is a nightmare. And this mainly comes in with the death scenes. There were at least 2 or 3 where I was watching the screen. I had to do a double take because I had no idea what happened. It's so shoddily edited, and it's a shame because there's a lot of great build up to these, you know, these death scenes, these money shots of like, oh your gore, here comes your gore. But the movie's PG-13, so they cut away from it before you get to see anything, and as a result, you'll either get a quick frame in there that's very jarring and totally disorients you, or it'll just cut away before you actually see anything happen, and it really is awkward, and it makes it almost unintelligible at times. That being said, the death scenes that you can see, oh my god, they're so funny. Like, there's one specifically involving a bathtub that I burst out laughing. Like, I could not contain myself. It was that funny. Like, it was just so ridiculous and stupid. And it's very Final Destination in that sense, and that's the best thing I could compare it to. This film feels like Final Destination light, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. If Final Destination was made for tweens and centered more around, you know, a wishing demon, that's what this movie is, and it's hilarious, and I really genuinely enjoyed it. I can't in good conscience call this a bad film because it's just so self-aware and it knows exactly what it wants to be. I can't call it a good film because it's not good, but it's such a fun time that I can't really even care. Also, real quick, I just want to talk about the cast in this film, because what the fuck. Sherilyn Fenn, Ryan Phillippe, Ki Hong Lee, if you've watched Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, Shannon Purser, who's now up for an Emmy, and just fucking Jerry O'Connell shows up at the back half of this movie for one scene in what's essentially a glorified cameo where he doesn't even say a single word. Like, it almost feels like he had a sex tape that he was trying to avoid being leaked, so somebody made him be in this movie. Like, that was the strangest thing I've seen. And it's over so quickly that by the time I did a double take and I was like, wait, what's that? And by the point I looked back, he's gone. I had to message a friend of mine after and be like, was that fucking Jerry O'Connell? Like, it's so ridiculous and hilarious. And like I said, I can't in good conscience call this movie bad because it's so stupid and so funny and such a good time regardless of the shit that it does wrong. It's the definition of a guilty pleasure movie. I mean, would I ever recommend somebody go out and watch it? Probably not, but if I was drunk and with friends and I wanted to watch a stupid movie, I would definitely fucking put this on. If it was on TV, I'd definitely put it on. I'd just be like, yo, I'm gonna watch that. Like, It's just the right amount. It's the perfect amount of stupid. And I really enjoyed it. And it was honestly a fun time. And I'm gonna say that Wish Upon is ironically enjoyable 100%. It's not a good movie, it's not a bad movie, but it's a fun movie. And that's the best I can say about it. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. And if you like me and you like this, click down there and like and comment and subscribe. I'm going to be seeing an advanced screening of Annabelle Creation soon, so expect a review of that coming up. Thank you so much, guys.